The life force of your bond. A power like life itself. Unseen for generations. A dyad in the force.
Hello, everyone, and I'm the only one in this scene. Hold on one second. Welcome to another episode of Dyad in the Force, episode 102. I'm tired, Choco. Go for it.
I am Choco. Nice to meet you, Tired. Sorry, it's terrible dad jokes. But, man, it has been a wild ride, and we finally got to the end of ANDOR, and we got amazing guests, and Star Wars news is popping off. So, yeah, it's gonna be a good show.
Speaking of guests, we are going to introduce our first one making their debut officially on Dyad in the Force, who is with us for a watch party. Or no, it was not with a watch party. It was a call-in, live call-in. We did the live Q&As. Kaylee's on the show.
Hello.
Why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself and tell everyone where they can find your content and on socials.
Okay, so my name is Kaylee. I go by General Skeevis on pretty much all of my socials. You can mostly find me on TikTok, but I'm also on Instagram, and I'm starting up on YouTube, trying to still work out the kinks with that one, but...
Hooray!
And do you read any Star Wars books, comics?
I have read some Star Wars comics. I've read some of the Dr. Aphra comics. I got right on that after Book of Boba because I was like, oh, I don't know who this Chrysanthemum guy is, and I want to learn more about him. So that was kind of my gateway drug into the Star Wars comics.
Good choice. And our second guest...
He's a handsome Wookiee. I get it.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Our second guest making their return to Dyad in the Force is none other than... Beth. How are you, Beth?
Hi, I'm good. How are you guys?
Doing great. Why don't you introduce yourself as well, and where can people find you on the socials?
Awesome. Well, I'm Beth, as I already said, so apologies. And you can find me at mara.j.skywalker on TikTok, and then mara_J_Skywalker on Twitter. I'm primarily on TikTok though. It's we like balancing the social media. So
absolutely. With that said, join Hive and find us on Hive. I'm at Element 7 on Hive.
I'm at Darth Choco.
We're able to nab those. I'm still _ champion, but still. Are you guys on Hive at all?
I am not.
You should get on it.
At least grab your name. We don't know what's happening. Twitter is getting wild. The crazies are doing crazy stuff. So
I don't know if I'm exposing you right now, but you should definitely grab Crazy Kaylee.
Oh
It's
God,
probably-
no!
It's probably
Please,
available.
no!
Just joking.
I told him my name on AIM from when I was a kid, and yeah, I don't know if you're gonna let me live it down, are you?
Probably not.
It was a cringy one.
We hold on to gags here on Dyad for quite a long time. And since it's being discussed, Choco and Beth, did you guys have an AIM name back in the day?
Ooh, on AIM.
And also in the chat as well. What's up, Chris and Daxon and Rams?
I'm trying to remember. It's hard to remember because I used a trillion.
I had several too, but the one that I've told you about was the XX Pinoy Digital XX.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mine is really. I should probably stipulate one thing, and it was that mine is going to sound really bad. However, I was very obsessed with the city of Las Vegas because I hadn't really traveled a lot when I was younger. And so I just started going to Vegas with my family And so I can't believe I'm going to say this all night. Mine was Vegas Vixen because
Ooh.
foxes are my favorite animal. But now I look back and I'm like, oh my god, I can't believe I was like 9 and like my parents allowed me to use that.
Oh
Vegas
no.
Vixen.
You're like, hey, foxy lady.
Yeah.
So bad. It's so bad.
You feel a little bit better, Kaylee, about that?
I feel like it's kind of on the same plane, you know? Crazy Kaylee is still a pretty bad one. I spelled it with a K. I spelled it Krazee. That's the worst part of it.
God, you're lame.
Yeah, I know. I'm sorry.
No, mine for me it wasn't anything special. It was Scenic Rear View, and that was my band's name at the time. So all my stuff was
Ooh.
Scenic Rear View.
That's
It's
very
a great-
poetic.
Yeah, it's a
It's
great
very
band.
poetic.
It's very mature. It's a good one.
I feel like you win name names.
Well, you didn't have like a personal one?
That was my personal one. We didn't even use that for the band, but I was like, I'm gonna grab all the stuff for the band just in case. And so I grabbed all my usernames and stuff like that. And scenicrearview@gmail.com. I still have that email address. It's full of spam.
That's true. A lot of old ones. I like shudder to think if I were to sign up to or log into my old like Rocket Mails or whatever.
Yeah.
Do you remember those email boxes where you can like choose from a list of like 50 addresses, and they had a whole bunch of like different subdomains? It was crazy. I forget what mine was, but
I guess a little bit later, I became Choco Bear on a lot of things. So Choco Bear does precede Darth Choco.
do you have any X's in there?
I never did X's or 6-9s or 420s. Not my style.
I guess our dyad started a little bit later. How's it going, Kenny? Hello, everyone. Beth, Skev, hi. Is that the accepted nomenclature for like the short of skeeve?
Yeah, sure. You can call me a skeeve.
No, don't think I.
Why not?
Is Skev is past tense for skeeve. It's
Oh,
to
yes.
have skeved. To skev.
Yes, I've been skevin.
Third day.
Skeeve Trennis. Okay, so let's move on to some news this week. We had a bunch of things happen this week, of course. We had the release of Convergence, our first adult High Republic novel. Kaylee, I recommend you jump on High Republic.
Yes.
I think it is one of the best publishing initiatives that they've done in recent memory, and it has not missed.
I know. Everybody's been talking it up for so long, and I've been slacking. I admit it. I'm sorry, guys.
Well, luckily Phase 2 can be read without Phase 1, although I always recommend Phase 1 going into it, because it's like the movie experience, right? You start with the middle, and then you go back to the prequels, and then you go to the sequels.
Okay.
And they're doing the same thing with the High Republic, where Phase 1 was 232 BBY, and then Phase 2 is back to 384. So it is like a prequel to it. So in that sense, just like the movies, you could start with the prequels, or you could start with Episode 4 and then kind of have that reveal. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I was looking into it online and like what book I should start with, and I know that they have like they have the books, they have comics, then they have like a preteen version of the book and like children's versions of the book. So I was kind of like all over the place with where to start, and got a little overwhelmed, I'll be honest. And I was just like, we'll put that on the back burner for now.
Yeah, so I mean, I'll volunteer to help you out, and anyone else in the chat, if you have not been keeping up with the High Republic, and if you want to jump into it, send me a DM, tag me in a video on TikTok or something, maybe even message me on Instagram, and I'll set you on your first book. Now, if you wanna stay up to date, and Beth, I don't know if you're up to date with High Republic as well too. If you want to jump into the High Republic and stay up to date, I will start you guys off with Path of Deceit. And that is the first YA for Phase 2, which means it's the earliest in the timeline for Star Wars, which means there's nothing before it. So you can jump into it, and then you're not going to come into stories that like don't make sense. You'll just know about things, and then once you go back to Phase 1, whenever you have the time, you're gonna have that. Oh, this is what happens. So I'm gonna make that recommendation to you guys. That's your homework for the next time you're
our
on.
Dyad homework.
Yeah. when you return to Dyad in the Force, I will have expected you guys to read Path of Deceit.
We promise we'll be very studious.
Thank you.
Full book reports. We're on it.
Hey,
I mean, Beth, I don't believe you can read a book without creating a book report. Whether or not you actually share it, that's a different story.
I feel so called out right now.
But more
it's a
specifically,
highly appreciated trait, though.
yeah, more specifically, I think you are really going to enjoy Convergence, because there are some the stuff in there I feel just is up your alley specifically. So
is it a spoiler to say there's some like law?
I don't think so. No, not a spoiler. But do
we get case law finally? Do I get Star Wars case law?
We can't say anything more than that.
Okay.
But in terms of
jurisdictional stuff,
in terms of timeline, Path of Deceit leads into Convergence. So yeah, I mean, how long do you think we should give them to read Path of Deceit?
I mean, it's up to them because people have busy schedules. It's hard to push around people. But also, our good friend Sawyerism is doing a High Republic book giveaway. So she's giving away a copy of Convergence. So you should check that out. Check out her channels. I didn't see exactly what you need to do to enter it.
Yeah, I'm sure you could just watch the video and she'll tell you. But yeah, I mean, I can also, I have some credits saved up, and if I am giving this homework out, I can get you guys Path of Deceit. As a Dyad in the Force thing. I don't want to give you guys homework and make you buy a book, but we always want to support the authors here. So you guys are accepting this assignment?
Yes.
100%. Yeah.
Enthusiastically, I accept.
Awesome. All right.
I would also, just slightly unrelated, we briefly mentioned this backstage, but we happened to pull on both a Dedra cosplayer and a Bix cosplayer on the same show. And that wasn't intentional, but it's awesome that it happened.
How do you guys feel about it? How do you guys feel about it?
I feel great. I'm just kidding.
I was so excited. Seriously, like 2 days ago, I found her TikTok and I saw her Deidre cosplay. I wigged. I totally loked out. I was like, oh my god, we have to do duets together. Like, this is amazing.
I saw one of yours and I'm like, I want to duet this. And I'm like, but I also don't want people to hate me but I'm also, I guess, okay with people hating me if I'm channeling.
Everybody loves Deidre, honestly, though. Like, we don't like some of the things that she does, but she's such a strong, independent woman and such an amazing character, and like such an amazing actress too. Like, can't get over that. Her performance is unbelievable in this show. So yeah, she's definitely a villain everybody wants to love.
Her, Denise, like, I am like astonished every single time I pause on a frame. Like, it's a different emotion, and I'm like, I don't know how your face works, but I appreciate it greatly. Like, it's amazing.
Just her look
in
of
every
disgust.
in every scene, there are emotions there that are being forcibly suppressed because of her job, but they're bubbling up, and then like, yeah, when she just looks at you with contempt, you're just like, oh, I'm nothing.
Unless you're Cyril, then you're like, oh, she wants me.
Yeah.
I would know nothing about suppressing emotions for your job in a male-dominated field at all. No,
Oh yeah, of course not.
definitely not.
Oh man. Lothal Youngling says we hate to love her because one, space Nazi, but also two, she's a girl boss and Denise is amazing. And she is. Yeah. I mean, just from the first trailer, I think Choco was giving me crap for simping over her. And I was just like, but what? She's freaking incredible, you know? But then like the show started and I was like, yeah, go, but also die because Empire, you know? It's a tough place to be in.
Yeah. You know, speaking of girl bosses, he also had a Hidden Empire drop as well.
Ooh, I did forget about that. Yeah, I knew I forgot something.
Yeah, so we get the next chapter of Lady Kira, and the Empire now knows what she's doing, and they are going to be tracking her down deliberately. So definitely, I would recommend checking out Hidden Empire if you want to see more girl boss stuff.
Of course.
I would never turn down a good girl boss moment ever.
I mean, the predecessor to this, I think, was one of the best things to come out of Star Wars comics. I was so into that story. And so I can't wait to see where this goes. To have someone that's actively fighting the Sith is just really cool.
Young says, all y'all want her and Mon to step on you.
I mean, I saved that for Arlani myself, but
I'm not gonna say no. She's both the best and the absolute worst. Brian with the beard, bread. How's it going, man? It's good to see you. Dedra Miro could shoot Cyril Karn, and he would thank her.
I mean, is it weird to think that that's outside of the scope of season 2? Because I feel like that could potentially be a plotline.
Yeah, no, it could.
It's so accurate though. He's like, well, remember our conversation? And she's like, that was an interrogation. What the hell's wrong with you? You know, he'd be like, remember our first date? And he's like, when I put you in prison? I just.
That's so funny.
He's got some issues.
He's delusional.
Understandably, he has some mommy issues as well. So.
Oh yeah.
Wait, hold on a second, Brian. Can she shoot him and then they still kiss? Which is kiss, probably.
I've never seen someone type with a lisp. This is the first.
Dedra can multitask. She can do both at the same time. Like, she doesn't need to do one before the other.
We've seen Ventress stab and kiss. So.
Oh yeah.
Another release that came out was Yoda #1, which takes place anywhere between 384 to 230 BBY. And this is a great comic for anyone that's interested in learning more about Yoda. We still don't know his species name, of course, that's never going to be revealed. But we get a good look into a time of peace, but also how Yoda handles his position in the Order. And if you guys are interested in that, you guys should read that. It's a great comic, and I think it's like 4 or 5 issue run from Kevin Scott. Go ahead, Beth.
Oh no, just Kevin Scott has my whole heart. I mean, like in a completely normal way, but yeah, he's just.
Yeah, he writes a lot of the great comics from High Republic to Star Wars. I think, is he Soul? No. Pack is on Vader 2020, right? And Star Wars 2020 is Soul.
Yes.
Yeah, Star Wars. Yes. Sorry, I got them mixed up.
Okay, so Kevin writes the High Republic as well as Yoda, but it's a great comic. You guys should also pick that up. I'm not going to assign that as homework because it is also like very much in the middle of everything, and you should get to it when you can.
And how old is Yoda in this time period?
In this time period, he should be somewhere around 67. In High Republic, he's 67. In his comic, he would be 500 something. Yeah. So he's getting younger and younger.
Mm-hmm.
And I want to see him when he's like 75. And it'll give us a look into what Grogu's going to look like in a couple of seasons of Mando.
Yeah.
Like the adolescent Grogu. You guys thought about that?
I want rebellious Grogu, like Grogu who has like an emo phase, or Grogu who like joins the
Grogu
band.
tackles acne.
Exactly.
Acne?
I would love for Grogu to like his voice cracks.
Get your hands off of that joystick. No, I want. What just happened to your voice? Nothing.
Please, Disney, Teen Grogu when? We have Baby Yoda, we need Teen Grogu.
Normal, my voice is.
I mean, if you saw the Guardians of the Galaxy holiday special, Groot got thick. Groot, he's ripped now. You know, he hit his teenage years, had a growth spurt, started lifting weights or something. I don't know.
It's got swole.
Yeah.
And this is rated PG still.
Yeah. I mean, you could if you.
It's like, how thick are we talking about?
It could
It's
be
just a little bark, a little
thick as
extra
you
bark
want.
in the front.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just saying that dude's looking stacked. You know. Whether or not you want to climb that tree, that's on you. I don't. You know.
Oh, jeez. Dexon said, if you feel the Jedi are not peacekeepers, then read Yoda. It changed the way I look at the Jedi Council. I appreciate that, Dexon, a lot. Yeah, they are. For thousands of years, they have been. You know, throw in a couple of wars and people think you're child soldiers. Anyway, what else came out? Dark Horse made a return with finally, if you guys are familiar with Legends at all, Dark Horse was a huge popular publisher for comics in the EU, and they made a return with the High Republic Adventures #1, featuring yet another long-lived species, Sav Maligan, who is a Cuso, and this is a fun one. I think you guys can pick this up as well and read it. It's This is another one of those comics that you can read from issue 1 and understand it basically. It's an origin. And then the biggest news this week, of course, was the Battle of the Bobs. The Chapek and the Iger. Iger's back. What does that mean for Disney? Does that mean that Kathleen Kennedy's gone?
Yeah. So as somebody who knows like how exec comp work, I mean, Kathleen Kennedy's probably going to retire after 2024, and people are like, oh, she's going to get fired. I'm like, that's not, retiring isn't getting fired.
Yeah.
Listen, a broken clock is right twice a day. If you say she's going to leave every single day, eventually, you know, she's like 70 years old. And, you know, has been at the helm for 10 years. Star Wars now as a company is more valuable than it's ever been as an IP. And, you know, it wouldn't be a bad place. But it's just been really funny to me because Bob Iger is back. And I see people like, oh, this means that we can get rid of the sequels. This means that Disney's going to be less woke and all of this stuff. It's like, Bob Chapek's only been there for 2 years. All the stuff you don't like was Bob Iger. Like Bob Chapek took over right when the pandemic hit. So I don't know. People be dumb.
Iger's responsible for a lot of what we know now in Star Wars. You know, and I think the Investors Day with all of these shows that are coming out now that we've gotten, we're all under Iger and Kathleen Kennedy. I think no, Chapek was the CEO during that Investors Day, but I think he had inherited that kind of slate. But no, I think for the most part, if you weigh all of the successes of Star Wars, there's absolutely no way Iger would get rid of Kathleen Kennedy. Now there is a chance that she just wants to like retire, like Beth said. But I think Star Wars is going to get even better with Iger back because you know, to me Chapek looked like a guy that just wasn't.
Chapek was a numbers dude, you know.
Yeah. One of the things that Iger quoted or said, you know, coming back in, he said, "I want to reorganize Disney to give the power back to the creatives, or the story. The business is organized around storytellers, versus stories are you know, centered around the business and like what makes sense for the numbers." And I think that's always been like a successful model for any kind of creative agency. You know, you have to be creative first and then the numbers will follow. But if you're wholly interested in just your bottom line, then the projects that you think of are just going to be trying to milk something, and it's not going to be as creatively fulfilling. Let's see here. Brian says Kathleen Kennedy, the one that Bob Iger left in charge of Lucasfilm for the last decade, he's definitely going to fire her. Kenny said Iger and Lucas were close. I don't think Iger will do anything but make sure it gets better. Which is, yeah, I think this decision is for the better. Although his one mistake was selecting Chapek to begin with, but we'll see how it
He's
goes.
also an old dude who was trying to retire.
That's true. Okay, I think that's all the news we can talk about right now. Unless Choco, you saw another piece of news, maybe about bricks and screws, but we can ignore that.
Yeah. Let's jump to that finale.
Yeah.
Or to whatever's next.
Oh wow. Okay. Well, It's not the episode 9 system. Let's talk about that finale. ANDOR finale. And I'll throw it off to you guys because there's some, like, you know, some facial expressions happening. Beth is getting a little, you know, antsy. We'll start with Beth. What do you think of the finale?
I thought it was everything. I had expectations because obviously the show has built up so many storylines. Generally when you have a piece of media, you're like, okay, I need to temper my expectations because it's not going to live up to, you know, kind of what I want. I thought it blew my expectations out of the water in the best way. It was so powerful, so emotional, so resonant with like so many, just thematically on so many different levels, and it just tied in. I'm obsessed with like ideologies, like tying back into things and like ordinary definitions, and like it just tied up so many beautiful pieces, but also left a lot of room for where the story's gonna go. It was amazing. I was in tears.
Absolutely. Well, you, Kaylee?
I absolutely love this episode. I just love that everything was just finally coming to fruition, and you know, we're finally, you know, seeing what's actually going to happen. A lot of the situations that were causing a lot of anxiety for a decent number of the characters finally happened, and we got to see, you know, everybody had been theorizing for so long, like, oh, you know, is Marva still alive? What is Luthen gonna do? Is he gonna let 50 men die, or is he gonna, you know, intervene somehow? So I was happy to get a lot of answers to my questions, and yeah, it was, you know, like Beth said, it was extremely emotional, and yeah, it was an excellent finale in my opinion. I loved it.
You know, I mean, speaking of expectations, I don't know if it was as a result of the fact that I had no expectations or it was my least anticipated project, but first of all, number one, this finale is probably the best finale we've ever gotten in Disney Plus show. But number two, the show, like, overall is probably the best show we've gotten in Disney Plus, like, full stop. And I don't know whether to, I mean, I'm pretty sure it has everything to do with the writing and the crew and Tony Gilroy and just the people who worked on the show, because while it was my least anticipated project, there was still some expectations there, and I thought, just like Beth and just like Kaylee, it blew my expectations and it blew my thought process out of the water, because like I'm a lore guy, and these very human and these very grounded stories don't typically have as much value to me as a story that involves the Force, the Jedi, and the Sith. And you know, this makes me want to read Alphabet Squadron more, because a lot of people talk about that. They talk it up so much, and it is good. And it is a book that is not of the Jedi and Sith. Because even if you read like books like Thrawn and stuff like that, there's Skywalkers, Osilia Sahembos, and there's lore there. You know, it has Anakin and it has, you know, a whole bunch of other characters, but I really appreciated the show so much, and I did not expect it to be in the top tier for me. What about you, Choco?
Yeah. Whew. No, it blew my socks off. I again, this stuck the landing more than anything else. I felt like a lot of the shows, the final episode is, I don't want to say mindless action, but it almost felt like action was kind of stapled on at the end because that's what was expected for a finale, and it didn't fully capture the depth of the rest of the show. And this definitely did not have that problem. We also got more powerhouse speeches that better be in contention for awards. I know we'll break into it more, but when Brasso slapped that dude in the face with Marva's brick, you know Marva would have been so freaking proud of that moment. Not to mention, we get the line, I love him more than anything he could do wrong. Like my heart. There was everything. There was everything.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like the show was just filled with quotable moments and quotable monologues too, and it didn't miss ever. And this is including the finale. But Kenny's what about that one chip challenge? What did we bet?
Yeah, I said that Cyril was gonna die.
This is true.
Oh no.
Do you have the one chip right now?
I do not.
All right, well, that'll be next week's Dyad in the Force. Stay tuned for Choco's one chip challenge. That's gonna
Again, tune in at the end.
Yeah, we don't want. Hey, Choco, can you cover the news? Yeah, yeah. So Lothal Youngling says, "I'm actually surprised at how many main characters survived. I think they killed anyone that needed to die." But I understand why Andor lived.
I'm kind of sad for my boy Zan dying.
Oh.
Yeah.
But so Choco, take us through the episode, I guess, in 3 parts.
In 3 parts. Yeah. So we can jump into it and see how you guys feel about right when we start the episode, we have the conversation, right? We know that Andor is coming. We have, our little trader doing his thing. We got Dedra arriving in force with death troopers on either side. There's a we get a little cute ride between Cyril and his Irish buddy swapping hats and getting ready, because Cyril's like, oh my god, I might see her. What kind of jumps out at you guys before we get to the point of kind of Andor figuring out that Bix was taken? I think that's probably is good for the first third.
Yeah.
The Lambda class shuttle, that scene made me so excited. It's such an iconic ship, and just seeing it land with that landscape, and it was just so dark and ominous. It almost gave me like Blade Runner vibes. There were just lights on in the background, but it was very cloudy, very dark. And then we just see Deidre emerge, from her ship. I loved that part.
That was the moment I was like, this is my dream to walk off in that man. Like, it's not gonna happen.
She felt like a badass.
Mm-hmm.
It's so powerful. Are we considering Nemec's manifesto in this section, or is this in the next section?
I feel like that's kind of the cut. Yes, we will consider his manifesto as the end of the first section.
I love how first of all, it's like, if we're looking at it and based upon like real life philosophy, I was like, wait, this sounds like a lot of stuff that I've heard before. And obviously some of it is pulled from Enlightenment philosophers, but it's primarily pulled from like John Locke, the philosopher, not the Sherlock situation. Super Locke coming back. I'm like, okay, no. But it was absolutely fascinating how, as they were, as the words were playing, it was very much like paralleling the situation on screen. And just the whole idea of like, people are meant to be free and tyranny being, this unnatural state. It I feel like it was so deep, and it just brought so much heart to like Nemec's words and to the rebellion and kind of their sacrifice. It really made everything feel very real. It was beautiful. It was beautiful.
Remember this: the Imperial need for control is so desperate because it's so unnatural. Tyranny requires constant effort. It breaks, it leaks. Authority is brittle. Like bangers all day.
And then just sorry.
Come on. I was just going to say, I love the idea that the whole concept around it is try too.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if that's because it juxtaposes like kind of the, do or do not, there is no try. But it's just, I love that because it's like, he's basically saying, even if you know you're going to fail, still try. And I think that's so important to just like the indomitable human spirit, if you will.
Mm-hmm.
It's just very Nemec. I loved it.
Yeah, I love that they tied it back into the last episode as well, because his death was so sudden, and then Cassian just sort of held on to that. I think it was you, Choco. You mentioned in one of your previous podcasts that you didn't think that he was going to touch the manifesto until the very end, and it just him getting all of this information paired with Marva's message that she had for everyone on Ferrix, it just led to the climax of the show, and it was perfect.
Yeah.
I feel like the do or do not, there is no trying is very particular when it comes to communing with the Force, because you either do or you don't. There is no halfway measure to connecting with it and making things happen. So in that sense, I think like if you remove it from everything else, you can try. Like, just like you were saying with their situation. But if you wanna lift an X-wing, you better be just doing it. Like, don't go halfway on that one.
The stakes were a bit higher with the Force generally.
With that final line, remember this, try, it really takes me to the end of Rogue One when they're like, do you think anyone heard us? Because they sent out the message. They don't know if anyone was able to receive it, was able to capture it, but they remembered to try. That's all you can do, and that pairs so well with Marva's speech as well. But we'll kind of get to that moving forward. But I also want to hear, because two other things happen in this that I would love to hear y'all's thoughts on. We get Andor going to, because Andor does hear the final words, from Marva, from Brasso. We also get him visit his father's brick, and we get the beautiful flashback. And then number 3, we get Mon Mothma just throwing your husband under the bus in the best way possible.
Yes.
And made me so happy. So, those all happen. If you have any thoughts on them, you can go for it.
The whole scene with Mon, I just loved that scene so much, but I could see that she felt so dirty doing it. She did not enjoy throwing Perrin under the bus, even though he's a jerk, even though she knows that he probably is honestly gambling again. She just is really having difficulty doing that. And, it's just the way that she so deliberately did it. She knew that, what is his name? Cloris? I can't remember the guy's name, but she knew that undercover Imperial guy was definitely going to listen to that entire conversation. And sure enough, like a little while later in the episode, we see them talking about her finances, and he's like, oh well, yeah, this could explain some of the little idiosyncrasies we've seen, so yeah, I just thought that was an excellent scene. But it also really showcased that Mon Mothma isn't made of tough stuff just yet. She's not that ruthless to be able to do something like that and screw somebody over for the good of the rebellion and just not feel bad about it. And honestly, I think we see that in Luthen's character as well, because obviously he did something much bigger. He basically allowed 50 people to die under his watch. But we can see, he's definitely wrestling with some emotions in this episode as well.
Yeah.
At the same time, she's being sucked into this mud. He's also kind of peeking out of it. Like, we'll see.
It helps for sure that Perrin has done it in the past.
Yeah.
He's like, what are you talking about? I'm not doing anything.
Canto bite too.
Yeah.
Which I thought was kind of cool.
I loved it because it paralleled Luthen's speech kind of at the end of the previous episode, the like, what do I sacrifice? Everything. And we've seen obviously Mon Mothma make a bunch of sacrifices before, but she sacrificed her entire family in this episode. And I felt like even though we do not like Perrin, we are not Perrin fans, it's still a big sacrifice for her. And I think that was the moment where not that she was like truly in, but where it definitely was a big step for her as a character. And it was very fascinating to see. And also just like, it was such a brilliant way of doing it. Like God, it was so brilliant, so understated. Like, you really do see why she leads the rebellion.
Yeah.
Do you think that it helped that at the very least Lita was down for it?
Honestly, I don't think Mon liked it either way. I think it might have been easier for Lita. I mean, if Mon was forcing her daughter to do it, I think she might have still gone there. I don't know. She's obviously going through some really big changes right now.
Yeah.
I feel like Lita is specifically going back to their cultural roots because Mon doesn't like it. I think it's a clear act of rebellion, not and I
not the cool kind of rebellion either, like the bratty teenage kind.
Yeah, it's like a crazy Kaylee type of situation.
Oh my God,
no! But
I was crazy, but I wasn't getting married at 14 crazy, okay?
All right. You weren't a Las Vegas vixen. Gotcha. Sorry, I had to throw both of y'all in there.
It's fair game.
But yeah, it's interesting. I just want to also toss in another thing that happens in this first part is we get that harrowing conversation that really showcases the distance that has grown between our favorite space lesbians.
Sinta.
Yeah, I definitely felt that too. Their relationship has been pretty strained, and I think a lot of it has to do with the fact that Vel and Cinta are fighting for two very different things, and I think Cinta is fighting more for vengeance than she is for the rebellion itself. We heard in one of the earlier episodes that her family got killed by stormtroopers, so I think that she might be, running on hatred, basically.
Yeah. I know Choco said it like when we first heard their names, Cintas Vel. But if you think about it, it would be correct to address Vel as Cintas. Possessive?
Oh, yeah.
Cintas Vel. Just thought I'd throw out that bathroom.
The thing I love about Vel and Cinta is the whole idea of Cinta being a mirror to Vel. And I'm curious to see, because, she's like, I show you what you need to see. And as I was watching that, I'm like, what exactly does she need to see right now? So I think that'll be really interesting carrying forward into the next season. And I don't know if it's like her becoming even more hardened in like her actions. But I think it's like, that's just such an interesting concept. But I was very sad that they had so much space, both physically and emotionally. Very sad.
Please don't fight.
You're the one happy couple.
Yes.
That is true. Lethal Youngling says Cinta also calls it the struggle as opposed to the cause. There's some ideological disparity there. Gungan Tuan says, my guess is that Mon felt the same way as Lita at her age and regretted it later. She doesn't want her daughter to be caught in a loveless marriage too. It's also the case, you know, parents often with good intention want to keep their children away from what they went through. But forget what show I was watching, but one of the quotes was like, parents should not, I don't remember.
Parents just don't understand.
No, like parents shouldn't try to lead us through. I don't remember the quote. Never mind. I'm sorry, guys. It was relevant when I was thinking of it.
That's okay. We know it was a good one.
Thank you. All right, moving on, Choco.
Okay, so yeah, moving on from that point, we got all stuff that happened after that, right? So we jump back up to the ISB, and we get to see, you know, what happens to Anto Krieger and how they don't really even care. We get their views on the Daughters of Ferrix, the rules that they've kind of imposed on them for the funeral procession. And let's do everything up until the crap hits the fan, you know. Let's say I have a cat that's kind of trying to like be destructive and like go. We'll see if she'll just stay up there.
She looks like a dark sider.
Anyways, yeah. What jumps out? Also, you know, we get to see Bix. She's not looking too great. The plan starts to get her out. I love when the procession starts and we get the music starting up, and we realize that the music from the intro from the beginning has all been the procession music for the funeral.
Yes.
Yeah. What jumps out at you guys for this part? We'll say all the way up until including Marva's speech.
Oh. Can we talk about like Brasso being the old, like, just being the ultimate king of everything? Like being the best friend to Cassian and being there for him, but then also just taking, you know, he's basically like fulfilling the role that Cassian couldn't fill, and because obviously he couldn't, and it's just, God, he was just the one character I never thought I'd be like, Brasso is like the best, but after this episode, I just needed a moment for some Brasso appreciation. Yeah,
Brasso is what Tim should have been.
Yeah, how did you choose Tim when Brasso was right there, you know?
Yeah, seriously.
Right? Oh, God.
Last time you guys were talking to me, you were like talking about, oh yeah, you sit for Brasso and all, and I was like, no, not really. And then after this episode, after the embrace with Cassian, I was like, can I get one of those? Where do I get one of those? Where's my Brasso hug?
I think I saw on Twitter, and somebody, this has to be absolutely true, that somebody was like, yeah, Brasso had to sit there and like memorize Marva's last words to deliver that to Cassian, and like how much time and attention he must have put into that.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like that blew my mind, and I was like, this is amazing and sad at the same time, but just such a great character.
I can't even remember my wife's Starbucks order. I'm like, text it to me, please. You know, and he's spitting all these bars, you know, like, yeah.
He's a real king. And the way that he, like, dude, death to the man that pushed over B2EMO, because what the hell is wrong with you? That was so uncalled for. And Brasso reacted just the way that I wanted him to. He bricked him.
He did like the Spartan kick.
Yeah.
To that guy. B2, man, it only took realistically 2 episodes into Andor for me to put B2. up there with the likes of BB-8, Chopper, and like BD-1.
Mm-hmm.
They did such a good job with that droid. I don't know.
He's so cute.
He's aptly named because
Yeah.
he's very
He's-
emotional.
yeah, B2 emo.
And then when Cassian shows up again, he's like, Cassian. I'm like, my heart, my soul. I can't.
But I didn't get to see you.
Oh.
It's a little stutter. It's like, I would die for that droid. Like, all of my heart. It's just
Absolutely.
so precious. And if anything happens to him next season, it's over, Tony Gilroy. It's over.
I think okay, so there's a couple of theories out there now. And I want to know your guys' opinions since we're talking about it. Do we think that K2 is either B2 or Fondor?
If anything, I'm leaning more towards Fondor, but I want to say he's got to be his own thing.
I feel like it's more personality matching B2. And if we were to get B2 in a droid that does not stutter, that has a better vocalizer, better memory package or whatever, better CPU, we would get it K2. So I'm wondering, what do you guys think?
I think that the theory is interesting, but I don't really see it having any merit. I think that K2 is, his own droid, if you will. He's his own little person. I think that there are a lot of similarities, but maybe that's just something that Cassian did on purpose because that's how he's used to interacting with the droid, and that's how he likes that kind of banter. He also says that because of the reprogramming, that's why K2 acts the way that he does. So, I don't know. Yeah, I liked that theory. I thought it was interesting, but I'm not really sure if it has really any truth to it.
I think narrative-wise, it would be too neat, I guess, if that makes sense. And this show has been so good at not being neat because it's like things you think would be very impactful would turn out to not be like, I guess one of the examples is in the shot of the trailer, and right after Aldhani, you see, the Star Destroyer over Aldhani with Cinta, and you're like, oh my God, they're going to blow up the planet because they've just been talking about the Star Sector and planetary emergency retaliation plans, and then nothing happens.
Mm-hmm.
Or they're like talking about, when they were like, oh yeah, Marv is obsessed with the tunnels, and then Marv was also talking about how she wants to fight for the rebellion one last time. People are like, oh, she's going to go blow herself up in the tunnels. But then nothing happens. And so I feel like it would be too neat. But I do love the theories.
Yeah, I like the theory also, and I would love for the theory to be true because that means that something probably happens to B2EMO. Because why is Cassian just going to stop bringing his droid around and replace it with a different reprogrammed Imperial droid? I mean, yeah, it might be easier to like bring them around for like, the issue of like being discreet if they have to like, be in a place that's occupied by Imperials, but I really hope B2EMO doesn't get hurt. And also, thinking about the fact that like Bix and Brasso obviously aren't in Rogue One, and like we have other characters like Melshi who were with him till the very end in Rogue One, and I'm like, something tells me like if Bix was still around, she would have been there on Scarif too. She would have been fighting till the very end. So it kind of freaks me out.
I think Bix would have, if not for her experience and trauma in the interrogation.
Mm-hmm.
I think more than anything, if she wants to be a part of the rebellion, she would be like clandestine or behind the scenes, so to speak. Probably not on the front lines. So I do.
Well, that makes me feel a little bit better.
Yeah, because I don't want anything to happen to Bix either.
Nothing better happen for Bix, okay?
If anything happens to Bix, we will riot.
Bix, Choco, and B2 all go off together somewhere safe.
They live on a farm.
Exactly. Together, and they're going to be fine. And then they get a spin-off show about how they're all really happy and doing great.
I love that idea. That's perfect.
How much joy
The next time we see Cut's family, the kids are playing with B2.
That would be
Oh,
awesome.
I love it. I love it. Love.
How much joy did y'all get when you got to see that the music for the procession was actually that Bix could hear it and it was giving her comfort?
oh, I was crying. She was just looking out of that window like, oh, and singing along. Oh, it was so sad.
It was relief. I mean, I think that was the worst thing in this show, was seeing Bix suffer. If I had a criticism, make her suffer less, please.
Well, if you feel that way, was the best thing watching Dedra get hit in the face with a rock?
Yeah, absolutely. Listen, as much as I love Dedra, like, if I had to choose between the two, it would be Bix 100%. And Denise acted the hell out of that part. Like, when you saw her get hit by the rock and like her face was like, oh, like, it really hurt.
I did feel really bad when she got hit, and then I knew Cyril was going to use that as his opportunity to slide in there like the little scrub he is and put on her.
Instead of sliding into her DMs, he slid into her justice.
Yes.
You know what we didn't mention at all is the bomb making. That because that's what we open on, and you know the intensity in the kid's face. You know, for what they did to his father, and watching that whole thing, you know, as soon as I saw it, it was like either he's building a bomb or he had an Xbox 360 that got the red ring of death, and he has to resolder things onto it. But it isn't like they built. I've been saying that they're just experts at building tension in this show, and then the music kept going. And you see there was way more people there than they were allowed to bring, and they started earlier. They didn't care about the Empire's rules at this point in time. Oh my goodness. Yeah, I mean, and then everything spills over, just like the manifesto said. And then there will be one too many. One single thing will break the siege. Whew. Because I love it. I feel like we were ready to move on to the end or talk about all of the rest of it. When he throws the bomb, and first of all, our little traitor guy, it's lights out for him, because siding with your oppressor is not a guarantee of safety. But the fact that his bomb sets off other bombs reminds me of that. That's the one thing that breaks. And it sets forth in motion all these other things. I don't know. I loved it. It felt very symbolic. How do you guys feel about the whole battle scene and everything else that happens?
I feel like we skipped over Marva's speech.
oh my goodness, absolutely. Yeah.
I feel like that was so, obviously it's so impactful on so many different levels, but there's this great thematic element throughout Andor, and I don't know if it's like deliberate. It could be deliberate. I mean, the writers are absolutely brilliant, but as far as like this idea of like listening and hearing and like the difference between the two. And so I love the idea that in episode 3 when she's like, oh, that's what a reckoning sounds like. And one of the definitions of reckoning is summation. And so like I love the way that they tied that into like the summation of her life was this reckoning, that she's the foundation of the rebellion. I thought it was just such a great parallel. And obviously like Steve had so many wonderful things to say, but just symbolically it was so beautiful. Snaps to Marva.
Yeah, I really love the bit where she mentioned like the dead lifted me with their truth, and I'm hoping to lift you as well after my death. And it got me thinking about, Rey when she was, basically about to die, and she had all of those voices come to her. It got me thinking about Luke with Obi-Wan's voice. Just the way that the dead can, I don't know where I was going with this, but
The dead
it
lift them
can,
up.
you know, it can incite some feelings in them to make them want to do one last fight, basically.
Yeah.
What I was taking away from that speech was that, you know, for a while, we had some people wanting the broadcast from Ezra to be playing in Rebels to see if that would be like the catalyst, but this was
better.
Yeah, this was better, and this essentially is a stand-in for it, right? I think the writers knew that they needed something like that, like an Ezra speech that what he broadcasts, but coming from a daughter of Ferrix, coming from Andor's mom, you know, stepmom, coming from someone who was fighting the rebellion, you know, ideologically and physically, like behind the scenes. And one of the quotes from the speech was like, it's easy to ask the dead to fight, or it's easy to ask you to fight after I'm dead. I forget the exact quote, but it was just a very powerful speech, and it's up there with, you know, the likes of Obi-Wan's speech and his hollow recording.
Yeah.
It's definitely, you know, it's a stand-in for that Ezra speech that people wanted, and I think I don't think anybody's disappointed that it got replaced with that speech.
I mean, we kept their engines turning because we had each other. We had Ferrix. We were sleeping, turning away. Like there's a darkness reaching like rust. We let it grow. It's here, and it's not visiting anymore. The Empire is a disease that thrives in the darkness.
Than when we were asleep.
Maybe fighting it is useless. Perhaps it's too late. But if I could do it again, I'd wake up early and fight them from the very start. And that's just the end of it. There's more to it, and I'm paraphrasing parts of it because I don't type as fast as people can talk. But it's whew. And again, the way that she ends it, perhaps it's too late, right? Maybe fighting is useless. But remember this: try. They put their whole ankle in this, man. Like it's so good.
Yeah, she was like, if I woke up tomorrow morning, I'd be fighting these bastards. And that just I feel like that riled up the crowd, you know, and he knew that it was his moment to, you know, make a bang.
I feel like one of the cool things too was in the previous episode when the ISB was asking like, oh, what about the mom? And Deborah's like, oh, well, she's too old and frail to do anything. Marva set off like the entire this whole the impetus for this riot was Marva's speech, and it's just I love the irony of that, and it just makes you
famous last words.
Exactly. And I love the fact that Margot was talking about, oh, you know, maybe it's too late, like maybe I'm too old, but it really speaks to the power of a legacy and how ideas live on. And and I feel like that's such a beautiful thematic thing in Star Wars too, like with Ezra's speech, that's a, you know, same perfect example. And that's something that is both on like the real people side and on the Jedi side. So it was just such a beautiful way of kind of portraying that thematic element.
Yeah, and just the way that she spoke about how, you know, she was basically saying, like, once Cassian figures out his emotions, he will be an unstoppable catalyst for good, you know? Like, I know that he's going to do right by me, and, you know, the rebellion's going to live on through him. And it was just, you know, her confidence with that she told that to Brasso on her deathbed, and she knew that he was going to have it handled after she was gone.
Yeah. He knows what he needs to know, and he feels what he needs to feel.
Oh.
Yeah.
Shout out to Master Ellen and the hammers.
Oh my god. The way he kicked that stormtrooper.
Yeah, he wasn't about to get interrupted.
I had someone say, you know, if they could put an F-bomb somewhere in Star Wars, it would have been at the end of Marva's speech. But I also would love a trailing one as the stormtrooper falls off the.
Yes.
Wasn't that originally in the script and they cut it?
Not that I've ever heard.
I think it was actually, that's how Marva's speech was supposed to end, because there was an interview where they were fine with saying, like, in the first episode, they were fine with saying shit, but Tony Gower was like, yeah, there's something in the last episode they made me cut because it was worse, and I think that was what it was.
I could definitely
Even the
see
fact that she said bastards, I was like, ooh, we can say bastards in Star Wars now?
Marva's getting dirty. She's like, she's gonna put on fighting.
We got
Yeah,
bricks and
she's a
screws, we
Scrapfield
can have
lady.
bastards too. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, I think there's a lot of curse words in Star Wars. Just in universe.
I feel like there's a lot of substitutes, like the whole scruffy looking nerf herder thing. Like,
well, there are some analogs.
Criffing.
Yeah.
I can't ever read like fic with that though. I'm just like, oh god, this is weird.
And what were you two doing? Criffing?
I don't like it in that context. It feels wrong. But I what you said earlier about Cinta, about her fighting with hatred. When the fighting broke out, she didn't try to help anyone. She didn't join the fray. She was like, that man has to die, and he's gonna die right now. And she hunted him down. And you're like, dang, she was hardcore. And I hope she gets the help she needs. But like, she's like, you're bleeding. You're like, it's not my blood. And you're like, God damn.
Like, just like it mirrored Aldani a bit, when she just drops from the ladder and just shoots them just out of nowhere. Like, the guy's like, what are you doing here? And then she's like, oh stab.
So we're all in agreement that she killed that family, right?
Yeah, she probably
100%. Like, there's no way.
What were you saying, Kelly?
Oh, I was just like, I was still trying to figure out, like, what her big mission was when she was on Aldani. Because he was, Luthen, like, mentioned, like, oh no, it was Clea. Clea mentioned that, oh, she's doing what she's supposed to be doing. And then we just see her scootering around on Aldani. And I'm like, what is her big mission? We're going to find that out in the last episode. And then we didn't. And I was like, well, what?
That's what she's supposed to be doing. She's supposed to be scootering around.
Oh, okay.
No,
I don't know. I also had the same thought, because it legitimately looks like a push cart, like that you have in a warehouse, and she just turned around backwards and just rode it down a hill.
Like on a Vespa, and I'm like, yeah, is she doing what she's supposed to be doing?
I don't know how this is helping, but
She's having a good time she's having a little vacation time.
But I do assume that her mission was also to find and kill Cassian, and she was scootering to find a ship or something like that. Like,
okay.
Some type of backup thing. But I still thought that was hilarious. Like, she's like a pallet jack, and she's riding it down a hill.
Oh man. And then of course, they get away. Brasso, Andor, Bix, B2. Who else was there at
a daughter of Ferrix?
Yeah.
Curly-headed kid.
Yeah, our bomb maker.
Oh yeah.
They all make it.
I thought they were gonna die because freaking Andor said, when you get over like climb, and you're like, you don't say climb. Everyone who says climb dies.
They said they were going to. Oh, sorry.
Oh no, I was gonna say it's people who say climb to him. So when he says climb, hopefully it means something else in the greater scheme of Star Wars. But I thought at first I was like, oh god, and then I'm like, okay, wait, it's not being said to him.
Yeah, he said that they were going to like Ganji Mood. I thought they said Ganja the first time that I watched it, and I was like, what did he say? Oh, what kind of moon?
Hey, we gotta get Bix's mind right, you know?
Yeah, you know, some medicinal stuff, you know, it'll help.
I mean, it's been a really stressful time, so that seems fair.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, Brasso needs it.
Yeah.
Cassian will find us. Yeah.
And then, of course, we get to the final scene with Luthen and
Well,
Endor.
sorry, there's one more scene. But I want us to hit first, right? Because after our girl Dedra got hit in the rock, she has an encounter with a sweaty incel. And it was. How do you guys read the situation?
It's so fascinating. I have 13 minutes I'm trying to edit down, so I do apologize of talking about that situation.
Go all out. As soon as you said that, I reached out to Pep and I was like, we gotta get Beth on this week.
Oh, I have so many thoughts. So I think overall it falls into two buckets. There are two interpretations, right? One is that, oh, she's, you know, she actually realizes how they're kindred spirits and like they fall in love, or she decides that she likes him or whatever. Or there's the theory that like she realizes that she's escaped one dangerous situation and is now in a completely different dangerous situation, being alone with her stalker. And she's trying to figure out how to like keep things, you know, to a minimum. But also at the same time, they have that kind of energy because both now she knows that, whereas before she didn't really like need Cyril. But now, because of the career ramifications that the Ferrix rides could potentially have, Cyril's the only one who can identify Axis, and we know that that's going to be key moving forward. And so she also knows, oh, now I need him. So I don't know if I'm into this, but I have to play. It's very fascinating because she's such a smart character. But that scare was a lot at the end.
Yeah.
It's definitely my phone background right now. I'm not
She looks at him and she goes, how?
That's the thing is like he actually doesn't answer how. Like he answers why. It's fascinating. Cyril's objectification of her is evident in every aspect. But even in their conversation, when you should be, if you're obsessed with somebody, you would want to have a conversation with them. But it's like he's having a totally separate conversation. Much smart guy.
The way that she was like literally hyperventilating, and he's just standing close to her, like checking her out. It was
So we gonna kiss
freaking me out so bad. I was horrified.
No, I did not for one second think that a kiss was ever in the cards. I think she was scared and almost traumatized by, you know, the fact that she's ISB. She's gone from office to investigation to like practical war zone in a matter of a couple minutes. And the fact that like when you're like dragged away by somebody, you don't know if that's like the rebels trying to take you prisoner or anything. So she's like hyperventilating, and he's smiling like a creep.
She's
like,
also with her stalker, and he has a blaster. Like,
yeah,
that's kind of a scary situation, you know?
Yeah, and to be clear, I wasn't saying I thought they were gonna kiss. I'm saying that he is probably thinking in his head, like,
yeah,
are you feeling this too? And she's like, oh my god, I almost died, but I might die right now still. And had she had a gun, I think she would have killed him. But whatever, I'll take my one chip challenge. I also, want to say, I love the entirety of this story where we see her have to fight against these men and in the corporate, boardroom to rise up, to show that she's capable, to show that she's smart, to get the authority, to get the power, and then turns around, uses that power to oppress another woman, like a woman of color, and then she's on the planet, shows up with death troopers, badass. She has all the power, she has all the control, until she has none of it. gets hit with a rock, and she might die then. She has no power. She has none of her authority is worth jack in that situation. And she gets saved by this terrifying dude who at the end of the day is now he's, like when last time he accosted her, it's like that took away all of her power as well, because it's a big strong dude grabbing her, and now she's stuck with him. There's so many layers to this. I can't wait to read Beth's dissertation whenever it becomes
my manifesto. It's my Nemec manifesto.
Is it a holotape? Can you make it a holotape?
Okay. It could be. We could figure out different forms of media. I'm down with that.
All right, question. Was Nemec, did Nemec like vocal record it? We heard his voice, but we also saw the manifesto was going line by line. Like it wasn't a scrolling document. So was he hearing his voice? Did he have Mark Thompson like fill it in later? Like how did that work?
I think it was vocally recorded and transcribed in that machine. Like
Yeah.
That's how I took it.
if you do
Because in the
Google
previous
Notes and speak, it'll transcribe everything.
Yeah, because in the previous episode, he opens it and then he like starts speaking and he slams it shut, right? If I remember that correctly. And he's like, "No, you be quiet."
Yeah.
I guess yeah, that did happen. Interesting. I like that.
And then we get to Cassian and Luthen. This scene. This is the one that starts Cassian on his journey, the journey that we know he'll take. What did you guys think of this one?
Chills, like just chills. I mean, obviously the acting in this entire show is phenomenal, but Diego Luna, I'm like, don't tear up. Diego Luna in like that last moment was just, I think, like captivating. Just the raw emotion was so powerful. And obviously Stellan Skarsgård was amazing, but it just the power between the two. I don't even know. I don't even have words. It was just phenomenal. I cried. That's moral of the story. I cried.
Yeah, just the way that Luthen knew something was immediately amiss. Cassian's iconic blaster is sitting right there on his little crate, and he's just like, oh geez, this guy is in here right now. He's probably anticipating a fight at first, and then Cassian's just like, come ateth me, sir. Kill me or let me join your club.
Join her down.
Yeah, I mean, for me, this moment represents the actual start of the Rebel Alliance, because Luthen was ready to cannibalize any other. Like, there's a bunch of isolated groups that kind of know each other. This one's going like this one. He's as stupid as an ox. But Cassian could finger him, could get him in trouble, and this is the first time he's like, you know what? We are going to. I feel like this marks. I feel like Marva's speech changed Luthen, and I don't believe he's still going to continue to go at this. Was quite the lone wolf as he was. I think he sees the value in people a bit more now than he did. That's my read on it.
One of the things that Luthen said, sorry, I just thought of this. One of the things that Luthen says earlier in this, oh God, I don't remember what episode, I'm a coward. Like, he calls himself a coward. And I think that bravery is something that he respects. And also I think that for Cassian to come at him that way and be like, kill me, like, or take me, that's like the bravest thing you can do. And so he knows that he has somebody who's willing to like actually, it was just very interesting to have Luthen above the fighting and to have everyone else below. I feel like that was such like a deliberate visual decision. But I also feel like this will pull Luthen actually into the fighting as opposed to just kind of orchestrating and watching things. Like they're going to be good for each other. It's a good symbiotic relationship.
Yeah. And it was especially more powerful because, with Clea, and like making this whole argument that Andor was a loose end. You know, that's something that Luthen had to get rid of him. Andor coming to him and approaching him in this way is kind of like, you know, kill me or let me join. And Luthen is like, well, this guy is no longer a loose end. This guy's an asset. And I think it's important. The scene is important for establishing Andor's character and why he is so important to the rebellion as we get to Rogue One. But then the after credit scene. Sorry, Choco?
I said that's him being ready to die for the cause. Because Andor was never, you know, he's like, oh, I might die or whatever, but like, I'm not dying for any ideology. It's the first time we see that.
We get to the Death Star. That's what they were building.
That was so not fair. That was so, even though like I feel like there was a lot of foreshadowing with that, and I think a lot of people kind of guessed it, but like seeing it, I'm like, this is not fair. He was building that ends up killing him.
I mean, it's poetic, you know. It also shows like the scale of that thing. You know, the thing that they were building were like couplings for arrays that, like, I don't know, it's like the size of your desk, but then like in the grand scheme of it, in the scale of the Death Star, it's like just a small little portion of the disc or the dish.
I smell profit.
So United Marconio Super Chat at $5.29 ramen drop. How many predictions did you get right in this season?
That's a good question, and thank you for the ramen drops, Runatemi. We appreciate the support.
Yeah, appreciate it.
How many predictions did you get right in this season? There's one prediction
For
that
me?
Choco got wrong.
Zero. Nothing.
I mean, I did predict that those were Death Star parts. I thought that was.
I thought it was like TIE fighters or something.
For me, I mean, after reading Catalyst and to see how the Empire played dirty with worlds in order to be able to steal their resources, to see these prisoners, all of a sudden their sentences started getting doubled and stuff like that. It was like, okay, they just need workers, right? This is straight up, you know, 13th Amendment type stuff, and they need the labor. Why would they need the labor? Death Star.
Yep. So the whole clerks theory gets thrown out the window. There weren't some independent contractors on the Death Star building it, huh?
What were the Geonosians doing? Weren't they? They were building the Death Star at some point, right?
Originally, but then Poggle the Lesser, when he was captured and like he got put in charge of the work, but he actually really wanted to escape, and so he made his hive start like destroying things and acting a fool so that he could steal a ship and fly off and escape him. And then there's a whole bunch of stuff with that. Definitely recommend reading Catalyst. It is a great read.
Yeah. In terms of predictions, I didn't have too many specific ones. I did say that the finale it doesn't make sense narratively for anyone to die. At least anyone that we cared about. And so that was one that I got right. I mean, I think the only person that truly died was, you know, a couple of the stormtroopers and like the guy that betrayed them, right?
The guy that helped him. I can't think of his name, but I remember he died and the camera focused on him for like a long time, enough to make you uncomfortable to realize like, no, this is real. People dying here.
Let's see. I mean, my most of my predictions are for like kind of payoffs, like where's his sister? Is his sister part of the partisans with Saw?
Is she safe?
Yeah, and so that hasn't been answered yet. I'm I'm hoping we're going to get to it in season 2. So that prediction is up in the air. I didn't have any. Did anyone else have like any like specific predictions for like each episode? I didn't. It was very broad strokes for me in this show.
But I think that was the best part of the show, you know, because I mean, don't get me wrong, I love camp, right? I love campy things, but sometimes you just know what's going to happen because it's just what this story, this happy-go-lucky campy story needs to happen. And in this was Star Wars without the camp. This was the characters without plot armor, and so you honestly didn't know. And I loved that most of my predictions didn't come true, you know, and even like ones that I thought for storytelling reasons. I thought Marva might have been alive because of how unceremonious her death was. Happened off screen. We didn't really talk about it, right? And I thought that's a weird storytelling choice because of how big of a part she was. But now I get why. She didn't have a big grandiose death scene because she was going to give a badass speech. Like that was the thing that we needed, and that's why it was downplayed at the front end. And those types of writing choices that keep us guessing but still fulfill all of the things we need in the story, just not how we thought we were going to get them, is beautiful. And I love going into these projects where we don't have expectations. There's not a bunch of people going, that breaks canon every week, even though it was just a question you didn't have the answer to. That's how I feel.
Yeah, I think.
Oh, sorry.
Go ahead.
Oh no, I was in. Oh, sorry. Wait. There we go. Okay. No, I thought for sure that we would see like Bail Organa or somebody. I was like, this is 100%. That would make sense. But now looking back, I'm like, no, they wanted to like demonstrate how isolated and how alone Han was, and then it makes total sense not to show him. But that was one prediction I was like, oh, I got that totally wrong.
Because you have to think, right? What would make more sense? I think it would make more sense narratively if the rebellion is as fractured even amongst the Senate members. Because then, like, what's going to raise some flags? It's like you got a bunch of like Senate members meeting up in secret, you know, like Mon and Bale and a bunch of others that are kind of anti-imperial. Or does it make more sense that their efforts are largely autonomous, and you know, Bale's doing his stuff with the shipping and the you know, logistics with like supplying ships to people and like doing his part, and Mon is supplying money to different cells, and like together they're working towards a rebellion, but apart they're kind of doing different things, and they don't know about it, and so they're just kind of like taking care of the stuff that they're doing and making sure that the Empire doesn't, you know, catch on to what they're doing. But as soon as I think that's what's going to happen in season 2, right? There's going to be a mask off arc for a lot of Senate members where the alliance happens. Mon Mothma, you know, takes her mask off, and she's like, she leaves the Senate and goes full on Rebel Alliance leader, and Bale's like, okay, we're doing this. And so he joins the Rebel Alliance, and then that's how it happens. Yeah, I think it makes sense that I don't even know how we got here. Yeah, that's where I think that's going to go. But as far as any other predictions, I think I made one prediction that actually did happen, and that was specific, and that was the trailer shot for Saw, which was, let's call it Wool. But that's it. I don't think we got any other predictions. Let's see here. I don't understand how Luthen found Cassian in the first place. He took a big risk to research and recruit him. There has to be more backstory there by Gungan Twin, I guess.
Gungan Twin.
What do you guys think?
Yeah, how did Luthen find Cassian? I mean, Cassian has been stealing stuff from the Empire for a while, and I'm sure there's probably been more than one occasion where Luthen had his eye on something that went missing. Like, what the hell happened? And it's literally just Cassian putting on a baseball cap and walking in and being like, I mean, what Cassian's like, they couldn't even imagine it. So, like the real life version of that is to get a white truck and like a high visibility vest and a clipboard, and then you can just walk in wherever you want because everyone thinks, oh, he's inspecting something or whatever, and just walks in and takes stuff. And he's like, this guy's bold as hell, like, and he knows how to pilot, and he knows this type of stuff. I think he is what is needed for this mission, this $80 million heist. And if he doesn't work out, then we'll just kill him. That's kind of how I read it.
Also that, he initially had his relationship more so with Bix, who was on Ferrix and stuff like that. So he could kind of use her as a tool to kind of determine, how, like if he's okay or not. Sorry, I didn't word that very well. I think I'm getting a little tired.
I'm sorry. Yeah, we're almost out of time here as well. So, geez, I think we're all kind of getting it because I don't know where I was going either. What was your
I still feel great. I was hoping for Pictionary.
What was the last thing you said, Choco?
Oh, just I think he has been watching just certain corners of space, and he's watching for certain items, and especially if Bix is selling these stolen parts, these illegal parts, Cassian has been getting them for her, and he's like, I need to pay up front this time, or whatever. And Luthen's been buying them, so he's like, okay, this person's getting this stuff. Someone's getting it for her. Who's that person? I need that person.
Yeah. Oh, okay, I remember. It's almost like the Ghost Crew and Ezra, the first time they meet, because they're like on a mission, and Ezra just like happenstance just gets their parts and stuff. He's like, oh yeah, guys, I got it. He's like, who are you? But it turns out to be, quite the Jedi, in fact. But do you guys have any final thoughts on Andor's finale before we get to our closing segment, which is Pictionary?
It was good. Very nice.
Shouts out to Bar.
I think I just want it to be 2020. I mean, I'm assuming it's probably going to have the same timeline as far as filming and production. I just want it to be 2024 so I can see, I just want it to be time for season 2.
Yeah. I totally agree with you on that one. I think this is one of those shows that's, I'm not okay with having to wait, which is weird because I'm okay usually with most shows. It's like, yeah, okay, season break. Give me some time to catch up on other content, but I really wish there was this was a Netflix situation where we had the next season to go in on. Shout out to Benelli in the chat. It's the will of the Force. That's my answer to all Star Wars hand wavy things.
Yeah. For my closing thoughts is to quote Rebel Yell, more. I want more. Just give me more.
One way out. Okay, so I guess it's time for our closing segment, which is Star Wars Pictionary. And I know how you guys love to draw with your mouse, with your touchpads.
I'm a bit of an artist,
This is truly the test. So hold on to your butts. Let's see.
That's Mark Thompson.
Listen. I don't know about you. Okay, so Choco, this isn't a spoiler, but Mark Thompson in Convergence. Have you listened to the audiobook?
Yes.
The mother, Why are they all Southern? From Mace to the mother. Why does Mark Thompson like go that direction for them?
Because when you have a certain amount of melanin, you turn Southern.
Jesus. Okay, 1 second. I'll be sending the link to you guys in the thread, or the DM. Here you go. And everyone in the chat, feel free to participate as well. It's fun for everyone. Let me go here and put this in. Waiting for the owner to start. Waiting for people to join. It's been a while since we did one of these. I think it's been since episode 99. How good are you guys at drawing with your touchpads or your mice?
Not good.
Perfect.
That's what we're
Not
hoping
good
for.
at drawing at all.
This is why we do this.
It's good practice. It's good practice.
I'm gonna be mad if Kaylee doesn't join us. Crazy Kaylee.
Oh, brother.
Hey, we told you we're not gonna let you live it down. Where's the Vegas Vixen?
Oh, I'm right here. Wait, hang on. Okay, here we go.
Wait, am I joined in yet? Sorry.
It doesn't look like it. No.
I don't
Unless-
see.
Unless you're watching
yeah.
it or something.
Drat.
What just happened?
I heard
Did you get
someone's
attacked
ad.
by a velociraptor? Is that?
No, I think that was Beth's ad. Saw that an ad was playing. There's Vegas Vixen.
Yeah.
Let me see. I'm so sorry, guys.
No worries.
Oh, no, sorry, that was an ad that just popped up. Whew, okay.
Wait, how can I...
Take your
I'm
time.
so sorry. How do I join it? I'm
Uh,
like struggling right now.
Do you know the DM Dyad 102 with the calling?
Yes. I'm going on there right now. Let me see.
There's a garlic link too. Garlic with a T.
Okay.
My headphones did not enjoy that one, says Benelli.
Okay, I found it. Sorry, guys.
No worries. Take that up with Vegas Vixen, Benelli.
Yeah, Benali, we'll chat. I'm sorry.
Now, Pep, there is something I do want us to watch and do a reaction to. In addition to everything else, I've realized I haven't seen the movie RRR, and I feel like that movie is about a dyad.
What? RRR?
Yes.
Oh, we got the crazy Kaylee in here.
Yep.
Perfect.
Yeah, we'll look it up. Here we go. Oh, okay. This is. If you guys don't get this, you guys are banned from Dyad in the Force.
So when something pops up, though, you have to choose really quickly. Otherwise, it'll skip your turn. Oh, I have just to stream up. I need to actually get the game up.
Please don't get banned.
Oh shoot! I didn't even get to answer. I'm so sorry.
You should still be able to answer. There's some time left.
Oh, can I?
Yeah, if you go to the answers chat, type it in there.
Oh, it's not letting me click on it. I'm having difficulties.
I'll just continue to draw. That's looking like a Pokeball.
It does look like a Pokeball now.
Oh, okay. I'm so sorry, you guys.
Do you see where you can type in your answers?
Yes. I think it's too
There we
obvious now.
All right. So everyone got that one?
Okay. How do I draw this? All right, let's oh, you know what? Let's see. Oh my goodness.
Got some Homestar Runner art going on. Arrowed.
All right, it's gonna be a stick figure. All right, leave me alone.
Wait. No?
And then there's a the answer is what he's saying.
Wait, huh? Oh. That was brilliantly done, Choco.
Yeah, when I say I'm a bit of an artist, it means I don't know how to draw, and that's why I brag. Remember, you have to pick quickly.
I have no idea how I'm gonna draw this.
That's the story of my life.
We believe in
Okay.
you.
I like to
Okay.
break it down into concepts.
Okay, we're gonna concept. Okay. Here's some arms. Here's some.
Leia? How did you get Leia?
Okay. There's some.
There's
Oh wait, I know.
Okay. This will help. This is gonna help.
Is that another
This will help. There we go.
Okay.
Oh,
Oh wait. Yeah.
why can't I think of his name? Oh my goodness, I can't think of his name. I keep wanting to say Sebastian.
You don't remember his name?
It's gone. It skipped my mind. No, it's an excellent drawing.
It's Babu Freak.
I mean, you know.
Oh
Well done.
jeez. Okay. This is
No
gonna be
pressure.
very difficult.
Do I have game show tunes?
That's a head. Just so you guys know. Then there we go. And some of this going on. There we go.
Game show tunes?
Oh,
Yeah. This match
well
is
done. That was really good.
Who is this?
I'm not supposed to say, I don't think, am I?
Yeah, you're not supposed to say. It's good.
It's a thing, and you know.
Guys, let me know in the chat if this music matches this. Huh.
What else can I put?
Oh.
Rats.
Hey, I got it. It's okay.
You did?
Yeah.
Oh, sorry, I didn't even see that.
What kind of? Let's see. I guess I could do this. This is hard with the mouse.
Y'all got it. You just need to do the whole thing and spell it correctly.
Oh shoot, I must have missed that.
And include last name. 2 R's, 2 S's, 2 F's, 2 E's.
Oh, there we go.
Yay!
That's a
So
really good drawing.
everyone was
That's a-
typing Paris. And yeah.
That's fine. If you guys get the idea, then I'll probably spell it out.
Okay.
But thank you, Beth. Does bears have diamond markings? I couldn't remember exactly.
Yeah.
Is this the Fibonacci sequence? Oh snap! That's a great freaking profile. That's awesome, dude. Are you using a reference picture?
I think this just looks like a frog, but I'm trying.
Everyone got it. That was a great picture.
It looks so good.
I was like, first of all, don't draw it in a way that it looks phallic. That's the only thing. Last time we played, everything I drew just started out really weird.
Oh no, Beth, you lost your turn.
Oh yeah, sorry, you do have to pick really quick.
Okay, it's okay. The two I had were impossible.
But that's what makes them
One
fun.
was Axe Wolves.
Oh, Axe Wove's the guy that was next to Bo-Katan and Casca.
Mm.
I would have drawn Bo-Katan and then put a guy next to her, pointed at it.
Oh jeez, this is not coming out good.
I don't think that's an answer that I can answer.
Oh brother, this is coming out so bad.
Oh
It's all
no,
the
it's not.
make along the way.
It's actually really good.
What?
Apparently, me and Kaylee on the same level.
Yeah. Is his lightsaber blue? I'm not sure. We're calling it blue today.
I do not.
I'm not. My crappy art skills aren't helping.
I don't know his name. I know everyone. I know what everyone calls him unofficially.
What do they call him unofficially?
They're like, that's the Dino Jedi, right?
Oh.
Yes, okay.
I tried.
Robert Coleman.
Okay, let's see what we can do with this.
Yeah, it took me way too long to actually understand that Trevor was Robert backwards.
Nope.
Why is this so good? Hmm.
It's the Three of Wands.
Oh, Empress Ray. Stupid.
Oh.
You guys are so talented with the dress. That's really good.
Oh, Jesus.
Benali said I was today years old when I learned Trevor was Robert backwards as well. Yeah, Coleman Coleman Cadge is also Jack Coleman.
Okay, let's see.
I feel like I should plug in my drawing tablet, but that would be unfair. Only when someone else plugs in their drawing tablet.
Damn it. That's what I wanted to do. Okay, we'll give him some eyes. I think he has facial hair, right? I'm running out of time, so
Oh, Jesus.
Oh.
I don't know what else to do. Yeah, I was based because he has a little backpack and it plugs into the gun and it goes.
That was good. I got it at the last minute,
Go, Beth.
but I only put the first name.
That looks like a great profile of something.
The cheese pizza.
It could be, yeah. Oh.
This is not my best. This is not my best.
You know what? It might be because we talked about it earlier, but it looks like it's one line away from being a delicious piece of pie.
It is a pizza, indeed. Do you guys want a hint? Can I give hints?
Sure.
It's something that a lot of people in the fandom dislike, but you guys know what it is because you explained it to a bunch of people.
Oh.
Oh crap!
Should pull some Hold'em and do this.
Do some real damage.
Oh, I'm still not getting it. I have no idea. Oh! Rat.
Yeah.
That was a hard one to draw.
It is.
Okie dokie. Let's
See,
see.
I wish I got it. That's what I would know what to draw.
Would you? I'm just guessing here. Would you draw the supremacy cut in half and then the ship going out? Oh, I thought I hit it.
Yeah, good job. Oh my god, no! I just made it look like a basketball. Oh,
Wait, how's it close but not it? What am I doing wrong?
Because he's not one anymore.
Thank you. I was like, there's nothing else to type.
Oh, jeez. Okay. This one goes out to... Well, that would be a hint.
oh.
Look at the chops. And no.
Oh my god, why am I blanking? Full name. Oh shoot.
Can I draw this inside?
That is so good. And also, I know the answer. I'm just... Am I misspelling it?
I think Beth lost the internet.
Oh no! Oh my god, I'm blanking on a first name. I feel so silly right now.
It's just Agent. I'll give you that hint.
Oh, okay, so I just misspelled... Oh, drat.
This is all
Oh
for
no,
fun.
did Beth not place? Rats. That sucks.
That man's first name is Agent. To quote Iron Man 2. Anyways, good games. Good game, everyone.
Very good game. We like to play that. Mara or Beth will be BRB, so we'll just vamp here. That was a fun game. We usually play that as kind of like a ramp down to decompress and just end things. And we've had some pretty tough competitors. Shout out to Lears or Sirices, who actually made me take out my drawing tablet as well.
Listen, Lyris has no business being that talented. Like,
I think everybody has business
fair.
to be talented, right?
So you're saying you didn't like my Coleman Trevor?
I thought your Coleman Trevor
I
was
worked
beautiful.
really hard on it.
I got it instantly.
I liked your mall.
Oh, thanks. I made him look like a basketball when I put that first black line that was supposed to be a line of his tattoo. I was like, oh god, this is not going well.
Mall looks like a basketball sometimes at different angles.
Yeah, a little bit.
Spiky basketball you don't want to play with, but a basketball nonetheless.
You know when his body like just kind of bounces around. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like in the bottom of a pit on, on Naboo.
Yeah. Okay. So unfortunately, Beth, you ran. I guess the game was over. We Choco won that one decisively. But yeah, we are.
It's all good. It's all good.
we're out of time for this episode of Dyad and the Force. I want to thank Kaylee and Beth for stopping by and hanging out and talking the ANDOR finale with us. Either of you, what time zones are we working with you guys on right now? Ohio. What is
I'm in Boston, so I'm Eastern Standard Time. It's about 10 o'clock for me right now.
And Beth, where are you right now? Well, where will you be when Bad Batch happens?
Oh, good question. I'll be in New York when Bad Batch happens. Right now I'm in Austin.
So neither of you would be willing to do reaction videos with us? Or a reaction video?
I mean, yeah. Beth is part of the Open Circle fleet, so I think she might. Maybe.
I totally will.
I've stayed up a couple of times. I'd be happy to do it. You know, I'm cool with it.
All right, we got you signed up. I don't know yet. We'll have to talk about it offline, but I don't know if it's going to be live watching or if we're just going to record a reaction. Mm-hmm. But either way, we have you guys slated for that. But thank you guys so much for being on today's show. Let's give some shout outs to other podcasts that are part of the Dyad. I'm calling the Dyad Network. Fulcrum Transmissions, Sage, and them over at Fulcrum every Monday. You can find them at Fulcrum Pod. Podwans? The Podwans. Over at the Podwans. I think every Friday is their podcast. Or live on Thursday, sorry. I think they shifted this week because of Thanksgiving, right? But they cover everything from House of the Dragons to Rings of Power and all kinds of fandom. They also have House of Holocrons every Friday. Kessel Run Relay every Monday as well. And of course, Beings of the Galaxy, Camilla's narrative podcast that yours truly and Beth, have you given a voice yet to Beings of the Galaxy? You're muted.
Okay. I did back in season 1, though.
So me, Choco, and Beth have been voices, and I'll have to reach out to Camilla and see if we can get Crazy Kaylee, one of the episodes to be Crazy Kaylee. And then we have Calzone, our good friend Cal4, who streams on twitch.tv/Cal4, Squad Up Saturday for today. A good friend Brooke from Far Far Away Factory, who has also made my Satil Shan shirt and all other shirts and jackets and stickers and stuff. It's responsible for this sticker right here, There Are More of Us. And that's farfarawayfactory.com. We also have Sith Faced at Sith Faced Pod on Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok. More of Us. There Are More of Us with Jamal and Young over at JComic7 and Lothal Youngling. And of course, I still haven't updated this, but Obi-Wan Kenobi is in the Mantis. Our Dyad Squadron, thank you guys so much for your support and your love, without which we could not continue to do this week in and week out. And I believe that about does it, right? Unless we have any final words. Choco, do you have any final words?
Nope, not at the moment. But thank you guys for being willing to come on. This show has been a wild ride. This has shown us what Star Wars can do, what it can be. And I love it. I need more of it.
Absolutely. With that said, that's the end. On to the next one.
For light and for life.
We're all the Republic.
And may the Force be with you always.